Hello SGD, Sacred Geometry Decoded. I've covered these in videos going back years. I've done it in detail, but I'm going to do it very quickly to have a look at the bunkum that still goes around and is deliberately still being pushed, even though it's known to be untrue anyway. Stone of a pregnant mother in Baalbek. This is a quote from a video that was just posted in the last 2 days by a very large channel who claims to be repressed and suppressed and oppressed by the establishment, and that he's a fighter for truth, etc. To quote, "We could not even move them in this day and age if we wanted to." Well, that's 1,200 tons. You also have the stone of Janine, which is 1,600 tons. But just for the moment, let's just focus on this one: the stone of a pregnant mother or woman in Baalbek. We could not even move them in this day and age if we wanted to, is the claim. So we Google 1,200 ton and Google will bring you up an answer very quickly. And here we have the Liebherr crane, the 11200-9.1 is a telescopic boom crane, mobile, so it's designed to drive on highways and be very versatile and to get into very difficult places. It's a mobile telescopic boom crane, and its maximum load capacity is 1,200 tons. So with click of Google, these claims can be completely debunked, like utterly debunked, because they're fraudulent claims. They are fraudulent. I use the word fraud because it. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment. So, firstly, if we wanted to move them in this day and age, we could drive a bloody crane up onto site. So that's just complete bunkum. This is a telescopic boom crane, such as this one. This one's a smaller one, of course, but a telescopic boom crane. They're very versatile. You can drive them. They're mobile. You can get them into any location. But they are not the best cranes for lifting. They're very versatile, but they're not the best cranes for lifting. If you take a mobile boom crane such as this and use exactly the same equipment that they have in this mobile boom crane and reconfigure it, but why are boom cranes? Well, they're versatile, but they don't lift off the center of gravity. Lift up a weight with your hand, just stand up like a squat. You can lift so much squatting that you're over your center of gravity. You can do an arm curl, you're close to your center of gravity. Try and get that same weight and hold it out horizontally from your shoulder. You can't do it because gravity, physics. So having a crane which extends out like this away from the center of gravity puts much more stress on the structure. So that's why these type of cranes often collapse, not because they can't handle the weight, it's because the center of gravity is way off center. However, if I take exactly that same equipment from a boom crane, the same tackle and wire and cable, and I reconfigure it into a hoist crane, such as this one, where we lift from the center of gravity, lifting up above. This is a type of crane that would be in engineering shops. And again, they are mobile as well. It's the type of crane that they use to on wharves and docks to move things. But exactly the same equipment in a telescopic mobile boom crane reconfigured can lift much more safely. And here's another example of a boom crane. This is Tyson, used to make, probably you can see there's an oil platform behind there. It lifts the entire oil platform. So Tyson, so there we see the pregnant mother stone, and there we get the frontal view, but you can also see now it's worth noting, just to point out, these stones are still attached to the earth, so let's make the assumption that they're not, because in these Baalbek truth videos, they keep, even if those stones were not attached to the earth, so you can't lift something attached to the earth because you have to lift the whole earth with it. But even on that assumption, that 1,200 ton, 1,600 ton, and one that's roughly the same, let's even just say it's 1,600 ton. So altogether, that's 4,400 tons. Well, Tyson could lift all of them together at once. And not only that, you could add the trilithons on that Baalbek wall, the 3 trilithons, as well as the 7 stones, big stones underneath them, and the entire wall could be lifted and moved, because this crane is not static. It's also on these cranes can be mounted on rollers, so these can move back and forth. A hoist crane is not stuck to the earth. such as this hoist crane here. You can move them and put them on rollers. So Tyson could not only lift the pregnant mother, could lift stone of Janine and also the other recently uncovered stone, and it could lift the entire 3 trilithons, plus the 7 stones, plus that entire wall, and still have lifting capacity over. So so how can, now these researchers often complain about suppression of the truth and that we're being help, I'm being oppressed. And my channel is the greatest research, and we're breaking the academic fallacies, and they make all these claims, but how can they persistently get it so monumentally wrong? Because the thing is, if you repeat a lie often enough, people will believe it, and possibly you yourself will come to believe it. This is one of the keys of propaganda, and this ancient lifting technology quoted by these people is utterly false, demonstrably false, and so easily checked. It's shameful. It really is. So this is a museum at Baalbek, and this is the tourist industry to generate dollars, and fake news at its finest. Here we see, I think there's over 20, or somewhere around 20 cranes. They're claiming to lift this one stone, the stone of the pregnant mother, but they've actually even got models of Liebherr cranes. Okay, so you go onto the Liebherr side, and there's a 1,200 ton crane, and I think even since then they've built larger ones. Now, what the restrictions behind these cranes is because they move on highways where we have asphalt roads. That's why they need all these wheels. These wheels are to support and distribute the weight of the vehicle as it travels across the highway. You could move this with less wheels. That is to distribute the weight so that you don't tear up the asphalt. It's about over $1 million a kilometre to resurface a road. So that's why these heavy lifts, such as the levitating mass or this Liebherr crane, have so many wheels. Not because they require that to support the vehicle, it's to distribute the weight over the asphalt so that you're not being charged $1 to $3 million per mile of road that you travel and destroy. One Liebherr crane could lift the stone of a pregnant mother. And it can be Googled, like literally in less than 30 seconds, you can Google this. And so the question is, you don't need industry experience to do that. So like it's 1,200 tons, it can't be lifted. Even if we wanted to in this day and age, you just type in 1,200 ton and Google will help you the rest of the way. So the point of this is that this is either gross incompetence or outright lies. Either way, it's a massive pile of crap, and it should not be sold, and the people promoting it are incompetent or lying in either way. So if they can't even Google modern technology and where it's delivered to you on a platter, imagine how wrong they get it on ancient lifting technology. In years past, I've posted videos on these showing the ancient texts and the ancient techniques to lift stone, and there is no stone in the world that the ancient lifting technologies could not move. This is a fact of physics, and anyone who says otherwise is grossly incompetent or they're lying. This is not a subjective truth. These are objective truths. We have Vitruvius, Heron, other writers who described not only the machines but also that they understood the principles of lifting. Sailing technology, rigging of sails, has to support hundreds and hundreds of tons. If you can sail a ship, you can move a massive stone. This is simply a fact of physics, provable, testable, yet what we see is this repeat and constant repeating of this. It's a tragic comedy because these people complain about suppression of truth, and it's essentially cult doublethink. What they'll do is they'll manipulate the viewers and say, I'm being suppressed, evil, poor me, the evil doers are suppressing the truth and blinding you. No, it's actually the people who are claiming to be suppressed and claiming to be fighters of the truth who are most guilty of doing exactly that which they accuse. And there's a classic Goebbels quote, accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. This is what's happening. You can go into Google and check out 1,200 ton. It's a mobile telescopic boom crane. It's the worst kind of crane for lifting. Very versatile, but it's not a good lifting crane. Hoist cranes. There are other types of cranes and lifting towers as used by in the past to move massive obelisks from Egypt to Rome. And then in the 1500s, they rebirthed the technology and they moved massive obelisks again. The Cleopatra's Needles in London and New York, the Place de la Concorde obelisk were all moved before modern lifting technology, and they recorded exactly how they did it, and they did it without 40,000 men. They did it with basic technology which was known to any sailor since antiquity. There are textbooks over 2,000 years old describing how to do this, describing that they understood the principles of these elements. So this is gross incompetence or outright lies to say that modern technology cannot do it, and the same goes for ancient technology. So these, like, it is cult. It's a cult to promote this, and it still gets repeated. And surely, they're claiming to be devoted researchers. They have not even Googled these things. Like, okay, I got experience in the lifting industry. I know what can be done with modern equipment. Because of that, I got interested in ancient lifting technology. Okay, so I had a reason for it. But anyone can Google and double check these things, and these are falsehoods, untruths. There's no way around it. So it's either, I'll repeat, gross incompetence or outright lies that modern technology cannot do this, or that ancient technology could not do this. That's it. There is no way around that. That is an absolute truth. Gross incompetence or lies to promote these ideas, and it's being, year after year, it keeps getting resaid. It's just not true. You are being lied to by people who complain about their truth being repressed and suppressed. They are the ones guilty of falsehoods. They are the ones guilty of suppressing the truth. They are stealing your birthright. They are dumbing you down with this, and it is reprehensible. It is disgusting. And the fact that they will not recant and then repeat these lies again and again and again shows you the nature of their character. They have no interest in truth, none at all.